Everyone's quite familiar with the idea of King Arthur, but people are less certain about this mess of voices and influences that lie behind the archetype. The best analogy we have today is the superhero, these very simple, bold characters who, over the decades, get repurposed, and retconned, and folded into huge new continuities. And so it was with Arthur. In the 11th century, the Normans invaded Britain, conquered the Anglo-Saxons, immediately started looking for narratives that would help them identify not as marauding invaders, but liberators. And they found them in this cycle of oral traditions that was 500 years old at that point, from a time when the Romans had just abandoned Britain, Germanic tribes, the Angles, the Saxons, the Jutes were invading, pushing all these Brythonic-speaking natives westwards towards Cornwall and Wales. And it's here that you start to see from the west tales about a messianic warrior chieftain who surrounds himself with incredible warriors, all of whom by today's standards are superheroes. It's basically a liberation narrative. It's the idea of this promised one who will one day come back to save us. And the Normans love that, so you start getting Geoffrey of Monmouth writing these completely fabricated lists of Old English kings, including Arthur. You get Chrétien de Troyes incorporating incredibly intricate Christian iconography into the whole thing, so that you've got the Holy Grail cycle and Joseph of Arimathea, all of this stuff. Somewhere in Wales, a nameless monk records a series of Welsh myths that he calls the Mabinogion, amongst which is a story titled How Killick Won Olwen. And it's stayed with me since I read it as a kid, because it's awkward. It's full of things that are clearly pagan. All the characters are shapeshifters, they're all magicians, there's a glamour across the land, there's monsters, it's very horny, and yet it's all recorded in this sort of artificial Christian ethic. And I've always wanted to go back to that story and retell it as it might have been told, sitting around a campfire in 500 AD, at a time when the conflict between paganism and Christianity was alive and well, before all of this stored up propagandist, nationalist, religious stuff that has been associated with it. But retelling it in a way that recognizes its own fictionhood, celebrates its own complete fabrication. And that is Rampant Swine, a new book by me and Chris Mitten, coming from Ignition Press in November. It's basically the Ur-myth of the Arthurian cycle. It's brutal, it's bloody, it's very horny, very poetic. We could not be prouder of it, and we hope you'll join us as we move towards release date in November. I'll be saying a lot more about it here, but my God, I'm excited.